shall we move to the other men's middle distance race, the 800, which was won by Faneuil Coach's training partner, Emmanuel Wanyonyi. Kenyan sweep in the middle distances for the men. This was a fun one. Wanyonyi, they said they were setting the pace to, I think they were setting the lights the world record pace in this one, right? And they got out pretty aggressively. It's 49.2 for the rabbit. Wanyonyi was right on there. The difference between this race and what we saw in Monaco a week ago was that Marco Arop was a lot more aggressive. And instead of going out in dead last in an 11-person field, he was up there and in third place at the bell. So we had Wanyonyi a little bit ahead, 49.6, 50.1 for Arop. And Arop makes this big move on the back straight. And Robert, you've often said you only get one move in the 800. And Arop said, all right, this is going to be mine. And he split 25-3 from 500 to 700. I was looking at that, I'm like, all right, he's got a good chance to win. But if there's one thing we've learned about Emmanuel Wanyonyi, he's always going to have something in that last 100. If you're going to beat him, you got to make sure that gap's really big, because he's going to, he's a fierce competitor that last 100. Arop ran out of gas a little bit. He closed in 13.7 for his last 100. Wanyonyi was 13.2. And feels like we have this every week in a Diamond League. Someone left the rail open and the winner comes in and gets the win on the rail. And again, with the usual caveat, obviously you're quite tired and at that point of the race, but we saw it with Atui beating Josh Hoey a few weeks ago in an 800. We saw it with Niels Laros getting Yard and Goose. We saw it again today when Wanyonyi just rides the rail, sneaks in, gets the win over Arop, 142 flat to 142.22. He remains the best in the world right now in the 800 meters.
Sorry, I was updating the results page for the viewers. Waking up early in the West Coast. You can always go to Let's Run, find all the results with one click, not 40 clicks. Yeah, what you said about Wanyonyi always having something in the last 100 is amazing. Like, this was a fun race. Like, I like seeing, just to see Brazier back was exciting. And then he had to share a lane. I mean, that's how much the events changed. Last time, he was in these things. He was getting his own lane. He's sharing a lane. But to see Arop go out hard, I'm like, okay, we're going for it here. And then I'm like, they're talking about world record. And then when Yoni sort of falls back, but then I'm like, he's always got something left. And then someone said in the live thread, he's like, Arop violated the Rojo rule. If you come out the turn in the lead, don't ever leave the rail open. I still think he probably would have lost anyways, John. I mean, I guess 0.22 of a second. But, look, Wanyonyi's amazing. He's the favorite for Worlds. Arop is pretty darn good. I think, obviously, very little separated these guys from last year. And I think that we expect him to go 1-2 at Worlds this year again. I'm not ruling out Arop from, winning it, but Wanyonyi is clearly the favorite. But I'm not sure what to think about the U.S. scene. I mean, I think this was a nice race for Hoppel. It's his first 142 of the year, correct?
Yes, this was the third fastest time of his life, and it was the season's best for him.
But what do you think about Donovan Brazier 143.08? I mean, afterwards, people on the forum, one guy's like, I'm really confident now he's going to make the U.S. team. And I said, well, I'm not really confident. The U.S. is pretty darn good at this event. So obviously you've got Hoppel, fourth in the Olympics last year. You've got Hoey, the world indoor champion. You've got to like their chances. They're really good. Then you've got Brazier. Now, his time today is faster than, anyone else in the U.S. that's challenging for the team has ever run. So I posted that, on the message board. But are you convinced he's definitely on the team now?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I've gotten some people saying, he can medal at Worlds this year. And I think that's the ceiling. I don't think they're wrong. He also might not make the U.S. team. And I think this race, the way he ran it, I thought was smart, because it seemed like a guy who is not in 142 shape right now and didn't want to, he didn't go out aggressively. He didn't try to run at the very front with these guys. I think he ran within himself. And as a result, he closed quite well. I mean, if you compare his last 200 to Hoppel, Hoppel really didn't put much of a distance on him. Hoppel was 26-1 the last 200. Brazier was 26-2. The only guy in the field who closed faster, Wanyonyi was 26-1, so same as Hoppel. But I thought Brazier still had a pretty good close, but wasn't quite ready to run 142s with some of the big guys in the world right now. And I think that's smart because if he did that, he might have overcooked it and just ran out of steam. He's still gaining momentum. And if he runs the race ran today in the US final, does that get him on the team? I think probably, but I'm not ruling out that Brandon Miller can run 142. And I'm not ruling out that Jonah Koech can run 142. So it's going to be really, really fun, I think. And this was another good positive step forward for Brazier. He was running against some world class guys. He was in a pack. It wasn't like he had, could just totally dominate this race. It's a good step, but this is a really tough event. This is probably the strongest the US has ever been in this event, run 1 through 5. So it's not going to be an easy team for him to make.
Yeah. As I wrote on the message board, while Brazier ran faster than the PRs of Jonah Koech, 143.32, and Brandon Miller, 143.52, I'm wondering if Miller's ready for a big one at USA's after his recent 335 1500 meter PB. As a former coach, I think that he is, but I also find it bizarre that Miller enters USA with only one outdoor 800 race this year. He PR'd in Rabat on May 25th and hasn't run at 800 since. So I trust Danny Mackey. I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt to get people ready for Worlds and USA's, etc. These big meets, but it does seem weird to me that he hasn't raced. But if you're a Brazier fan, my concern was it didn't he looked. I don't want to say strained, but it didn't look like he could go a lot faster. He was kind of in the back early on and just sort of this looked like about as fast as he could run, right, John? Time trial right now,
yes, agreed.
And I guess the other guys have never even run this fast their entire life. But I'm not ruling it out. Last year was quite, it was quite difficult to make the U.S. team. Josh Hoey was 4th. He runs 144.12. And people are like, wow, that's crazy. You almost run in the 143s and you don't make the team. And someone had shout out to the 1984 U.S. Olympic trial was actually a little faster. It was 144 flat, didn't make the team. So as good as last year was, you go back 40 years ago and it was just as good, if not better. But this year, I think it's even at another level. You could almost run 143 and not make the team. And it wouldn't stun me if somebody ran 142 hot if they were running a time trial, because I think Hoey's just going to go out and push this pace. It wouldn't stun me. Would it shock you, John, if somebody ran 142.9 and didn't make the team?
No. Think about who we've got in the race. We've got the reigning world champion Josh Hoey reigning world indoor champion. We've got the 2024 world indoor champion Bryce Hoppel, who was 4th at the Olympics in 141. And we've got Donovan Brazier, who was an outdoor world champion from 2019 and just ran his fastest time in 6 years. And Brandon Miller and Jonah Koech, they're not chopped liver either. I think to be on this team, you're either going to have to, it's going to be the 3 world champions, or you're going to have to run fast enough to beat one of them. And all those guys have been running well this year. So, yeah, I think it's going to be fast, like you said, with Hoey pushing the pace. I find it hard to see 3 guys beating Josh Hoey with his fitness and his style of running. But everyone, and I think Hoppel will be on the team just because he makes teams, but I don't know. Am I saying any of these guys is a lock? The one I feel most confident about is Hoey right now, which is kind of amazing because he's never made a U.S. outdoor team.
Correct. Hoey's a lock for me. And then I've got, I don't have a lock after that.
Yeah, which it sounds insulting to Bryce Hoppel, given he so often makes these teams. He's the American record holder. It was 4th in the Olympics, but I just don't know if I can call him a lock right now, given how
he probably. I'm into coaching matters, and I think Brandon Miller might be ready for a big one. and then Brazier's back. But God, it would have to be a really big one for Miller. Anyways, it's going to be a great. It is a great. We always say the men's 1500 is so exciting because there's tactics and there's time to talk about it and analyze it, but they're not separated. I mean, in the women's running, you got such a huge gap. But let's go to some of these women's races.